Hey everybody, welcome to the GMG review. Today we're taking a look at Steel Rift, the two new quick build teams, the Cerberus Freelance Gunslinger team and the Akamatsu Corporate Assassination team, as well as a brand new quick build two-player starter set, all from Death Ray Designs. Now, if you're not familiar with Steel Rift is a 6mm mech combat game that was, the rules for which were designed by me, and the models and all the terrain and everything else that goes with it was designed by Austin and his team at Death Ray Designs. We collaborated on this about 2.5 years ago. And I have just recently stepped back and given them sort of full creative control over the direction of the rules and all future supplements and stuff like that for the game, as being just one person and not being local was getting in the way of Steel Rift being developed. So these are the first 3 products they've developed, basically with like me being available for ideas and to bounce things off of, kind of more consulting versus directing the design. And this is what they came up with. And this is a perfectly timed review, which I'm now comfortable doing because I was not part of the design of this. I just consulted a little bit on it and gave like broad vision ideas for what these kinds of products could be with Austin. And that means I can review it because I didn't make it. Yay! I'm super excited to talk about this and have this in the review stream now, because boy howdy has Austin and the team leveled up in their just like raw design talent. They are making some fantastic products, and these 3 I'm super excited about, particularly because of a video that you guys watched last weekend called The Growing Problem with Starter Sets. And as I was very, very sort of like passionately involved in talking about what makes a great starter set, I think Austin has nailed it with these 3 boxes. So if you haven't played Steel Rift before, it is a quick to play, rules sort of like, rules not light, but rules out of the way, if that makes sense, to gameplay mech game, which uses 6mm models that are fully customizable and has you both be able to quickly design a mech, or now with these 3 boxes, play out of the box with pre-designed teams and quick build miniatures where all you have to do is add your guns. So let's dig into one of these. And what I want to use my criteria from last week's Inside Tabletop I did with Chris from Lords of War Games and Hobbies to vet, do these hit all 3 of my criteria for makes a great starter set. So I'm going to get the first one out of the way. These are very affordable boxes. The 2-player starter set, which you could also play as a 1-player starter set, comes with 3 corporate HEVs, 3 freelance HEVs. So these are the freelance, these are the corporate. And they're all 6 quick build. You can use them as a single team, or you can use them as a 2-player starter set. 80 weapon inserts. So the things that you get to customize on all these mechs are the weapon inserts to put your guns on, to decide what the guns are going to be. 6 40mm bases that are colored. So if you don't want to paint your miniatures, you put them on colored bases. You're playing right out of the box. 1 arc and rotation guide, so for turning, and then 1 Steel Rift Quick Start rules. It is a single poster sheet with all the core rules on it. A starter sheet numbered of decals, 8 double-sided terrain cards, so you can play with 2-dimensional terrain right out of the box immediately. 2 dry erasable force cards, so you don't have to have your own forces created. You could be just playing in like 5 minutes. And an objective marker with a web URL for special missions, so you can download some additional stuff. So there's a bunch of QR codes in here you can use to download additional things. Now, for these 2 box sets, you're going to get a 4-person team, all the same fixins as far as the weapon sprues, the decal sheets, and the stat cards. So these are also directly playable out of the box, either as an add-on, or if you buy the core rulebook separately, as their own starter. These are $35 for a 4-model starter. These are $45 for a 6-model starter. And they're also carrying cases, which I find fantastic. So first thing checked off my box, these are all very affordable. You can take a chance on this game for $45 and be playing it in about 5 minutes. Second criteria is, does it provide everything you need to play in the loop? Well, let's have a look. So first things first, the quick start rules sheet. So Austin and the team have boiled down the core rules for playing a game into this 2 pages. It is quick setup, play a direct mission, 24 by 24 inch table. Here's the setup for all the 2D terrain in the box set. For beginner games, we recommend direct approach and seek and destroy missions from the rulebook. So if you look this up in the rulebook later on for procedurally generating a mission, that's how you would generate this mission. And instead of terrain setup as shown in the diagram left, use generate terrain in the core rulebook to use the same 2D terrain, but set it up yourself. The turn, commanders roll for initiative, they roll off. Commanders alternate activating units until everyone's activated. During the activation, you can be issued 2 different orders in any sequence, and then all of the standard orders that you can use in the game. So there are additional orders you can use in more advanced rule sets, or advanced like team building and stuff like that, or certain like HEV, like traction types, like tracked HEVs and stuff. HEVs, human endoskeletal vehicles. And then, exoskeletal vehicles. And then engage, jump, smash, and move are all outlined here. So basically, firing your guns, fighting in melee, making a jump attack, and then your standard movement. And then all of the speeds here are laid out depending upon your class of HEV. This is super comprehensive. And everything that you can do with the quick-built teams is referenced on this page. Then you just repeat steps 1 and 2 for 5 rounds when you check VP totals, and the commander with more VP wins. If you tie, play 1 more round additionally. The game is direct, so forces deploy within 3 of the opposing table edge. And then seek and destroy at the end of each turn. Calculate the tonnage of units destroyed by each commander. The force that has destroyed the most tonnage scores a VP. And the most VPs at the end of the game wins. Other side of the page, we have a reference sheet. So how to put your bases on so you can use your base gauge. Recognition sheet for all the weapons. And then building an HEV, the core principles for how you build it. And it references a page number here for finding all the costs. And then, of course, there's some QR codes for additional information like roster sheets that you can download for free to go and build your own HEVs, because that's the next step. Here's our custom sheets. Our pre-made army list, not custom sheets. And they're both laminated, so you can dry erase on these guys. Tracks your armor, tracks your structure, has all your weapon loadouts. So if you don't want to even put the weapons on initially, just pop your HEVs on bases, and you're ready to play. It took me about 3.5 minutes to put on all the bases. And then here's our 2D terrain. So they are intact and destroyed buildings on both sides. So for those who like playing with 2D terrain, there it is. Buildings, buildings, buildings. And you can flip them so you can mix up your terrain and have them be either intact or destroyed, so you can use the various rules for, it's in the movement for whether or not your terrain is going to be blocking or not blocking. And then here we have the carrying case. So Austin did mention that the final production, these were samples, the final production was slightly different for the foam, but not in any way that's going to really matter. Here's our decal sheets, just some numbers so you can number your HEVs. This is a download code for, I think, some discount on the rulebook, for downloading the rulebook, and then an objective marker, which can also be used later on, and is a QR code to get more scenarios, free STLs that you could download potentially, army lists, and blank rosters. And then this is our little measuring gauge for arcs and for doing turns. So you can turn your HEVs, right? So you put this in, and then you turn it, you've made a turn. And then here's our colored bases and tons of guns. So I believe it's 4 of every weapon type for each team, right? So you have a massive variety of guns to then put into each of these HEVs. And here's our freelance heavy, our freelance medium HEV. And the bases come pre-drilled, so you can just pop these on like I did and be ready to play. And they're hex based on the foot. And there's our light. And you can see the holes here, the little inserts for putting in all your weapon loadouts. You've also got, and they're designed so that you can build the quick ones off the roster just immediately if you want. But you can just leave the weapons off and start playing, and then worry about custom designing after you grab the rules, or look through the design rules if you like different weapon loadouts and customize them yourself. There's the light for the corporate, the medium for the corporate, and the heavy for the corporate, all redesigned, which are super nice. So, do you do everything you need to play? Yes, you do. So second criteria done. And then last one, is this presented in such a way that you can quickly be playing? Well, in 3.5 minutes, I had all of my mechs on bases. If I wanted to go through and identify, I could spend another 5 minutes identifying the guns, right? If I wanted to just build these out of the box, which is what I'm going to end up doing. I'm just going to make these exactly as they are. And then, like I said, just make them look cool. Like, this is one of those games where, a lot like Battletech, you don't have to worry about identifying every single gun if you don't want to. And if I want to change them up, I just will and get blank roster sheets and change their guns. It doesn't matter. They're 6mm mechs, right? Like, it's perfect the way it is. So this hits all the right boxes for me. I think Austin did such a great job designing this box. I love that it's $45. I love that that's the price point. I love that it comes with everything for a complete gameplay experience. And I love that it boils down the rules to this essential sheet that you can just put down next to you and be playing the game. I think if more companies had a box like this, you would be able to go to a convention and go home with like 5 new games to try. And it would be like going to the restaurant and ordering nothing but appetizers and being able to just like switch up what I want to play today. It's really well done. So I'm gonna have a look at these other 2 boxes just so you can see what they look like. So and you'll see them unassembled too. So the Akamatsu, the corporate assassination team, it's another corporate team. Again, they come as carrying cases. You're gonna get some decals for them. So some nice, like, definitely not generic decals, right? These are more in theme with that sort of like anime-inspired sort of a team, right? They've got sort of like their daikatanas and their more samurai-inspired armor. Like it's a different look for these guys. And you're gonna get 4 mechs instead of 3, and they are also pre-assembled. So these guys come right out of the box ready to go. They come on black bases, just gonna glue them down. These ones aren't slotted, right? Unlike the first ones. So a little bit of glue required as opposed to no glue required. Although you're gonna wanna glue them anyway. And as they are like a melee specific team, they do other funky stuff, as you can see on here. So the Akamatsu Hard Light. So this is an HEV1 and HEV2. These are the little lights. They are armed with directional thrusters, high-speed servos, jump jets as their upgrades. And those upgrades are all outlined on the back here. So this is a special team set of rules for an assassination team. Teams are an advanced rule in the rulebook where you can have sort of like an additional way of composing your forces to unlock certain benefits. And an assassination team gets different things. So like those different ways of scoring points, different weapons, and different upgrades will allow you to play the game in a slightly different manner than normal. And this is all part of the close quarters supplement. So the close quarters supplement gave tons of additional weapon types and tons of new upgrades, like the high-speed servos and the directional thruster for different movement options. And that means that even though you've got melee weapons, like you've got a combat blade, you're gonna have special rules that apply to you, so you don't worry about having guns as much. These guys have plasma blades. They have directional thrusters, extra plating, high-speed servos, and jump jets. And we got our 2 mediums here, so 2 mediums and 2 lights. And allows you to play that team right out of the box. You get one of the directional gauges too, so that you can face where you want to face, and a handy little carrying case, so that your guys can be transported. Super excited to paint those, but I think my favorites still are going to be this last box set, which is the Cerberus team, the Gunslinger team. And this is another close quarters team because they look very Titanfall. And I have a soft spot for Titanfall, so I'm pretty pumped about that. Once again, pre-assembled, right? So just glue these guys down. This guy I think is my favorite. Look at how cool he is with his giant combat blade and his like space shotgun. Yeah, that guy's pretty boss. And these guys all have sort of like pistol grip weapons, dually pistols. Who doesn't want to buy dualies? And then this guy's got like a pistol and a combat blade. And they've just got that cool ball-headed commando vibe. And here's the light. This little combat shotgun. Look at how cool those are. And these do have weapon fits. So the guns will all be fitted with these little stubby ends so that you can give them the weapon loadout that you want. But you do get pre-built ones as well. And new upgrades, and you actually get a special rule set in this one for the Gunslinger team. So the Gunslinger team rules are here. The special rules for the haptic suit, coolant tank, stagger, and tether are all here. And then you get your rules for your Ermi, your Zuma, your Chesty, and the other one's also a Ermi. Like Arlie Ermi. Get it? Get it? Arlie Ermi, you know, from Full Metal Jacket. These guys are armed with plasma blades, rotary cannons, and shot cannons. Arc guns, shot cannons, mag tether. I like the mag tether because it's basically like a big drag thing on the medium, and a rotary cannon. And they got haptic suits and jump jets. Haptic suits are things like when you return fire, you can reroll all your failed defense rolls because you're just blasting back basically to keep people's heads down. Coolant tanks, twice per game before issuing an order, you can remove a red line marker. Staggers, a new trait for close quarters. And it is a target unit is staggered and applies a -1 to all their defense rolls against the next engage or smash order targeting them. If the unit's staggered when it activates, may only make 1 non-move order. Remove the staggered condition after being engaged, smashed, or activated. So it's like a one use basically. And then you get some cool decals. You also get your gauge. So there's the decals for the Cerberus team. This is the one I'm going to paint first, I think. I'll paint the starter set and then I'll paint this one. But I'm pretty pumped for these. This is going to be a great fun thing to do. Yeah, and so you've got these one-player teams that you could combine, because you have the rules to play with both these things right out of the box, right? Because you got the traits on the back of each card and the team rules on the back of each card. You can just pop these or combine them with the 2-player starter set and get going, or grab the rule book and these boxes and play as well. Model designs are fantastic. Paint jobs look great on the art. The box sets are affordable. I think anybody could take a chance on the game and not have a bad time and have everything they need to play. You just need to grab some dice and something in inches to measure with, and you're ready to roll. So there it is. 2 new quick build box sets and a 2-player starter set from Death Ray Designs for Steel Rift. Really proud of the guys at Death Ray Designs. I think this is a great offering. This will be available, I believe, for the first time at Nova Open, which they will be at. So if you're there, which is I think the last week of August, go say hi, go say to Austin and the boys. Tell them you saw this review and that I don't know, was super pumped that they were having this box released. And I said, good luck. So there it is. The Steel Rift new offerings will be available at Nova. If you are a retailer though, and you are interested in grabbing it, I'm gonna put Justin's email in the video description. He is in charge of all the, I think the retail stuff. So it is Justin at deathraydesigns.com, but I'll list it down below. You can drop him an email and he'll get you hooked up with these quick build box sets if you wanna have them in your store, because yeah, it's a game in a box and it's very playable, and they've made it as easy as possible to take the next step with all the QR codes and stuff to go grab the additional materials, and then giving away tons of extra little freebies and stuff too, like the roster sheets for designing your own mechs and all the extra gubbins. So made by gamers for gamers. I'm really proud of these guys. I think they did a great job. We'll see you for more GMG reviews today. Till then, I'm Ash. Happy gaming.